and he has said to them that what they did didn't count. And the scale of the offence and the collapse...
I just want to interrupt
I'm sorry,
for a second.
it's absolutely no good interrupting to say it's not true. I am telling you categorically.
This is one of those moments where the mask slips completely. What you're about to watch isn't a misunderstanding or a clumsy choice of words. It's a deliberate attempt to talk past dead soldiers and hope the audience lets it slide. A Trump loyalist walks into a British studio expecting to spin, deflect, and bulldoze the conversation. Instead, she runs straight into someone who refuses to play along, and you can feel the mood shift almost instantly. Watch closely, because this interview doesn't drift off course, it collapses.
Donald Trump said, just to repeat his words, Donald Trump speaking of NATO allies, including Britain, they'll say they sent some troops to Afghanistan, and they did. They stayed a little back, a little off the front lines. That's just not true, is it?
Well, so President Trump is dealing with a lot of issues. There are global issues. He totally respects the troops and their sacrifices. And I will just say the UK and the Danes were shoulder to shoulder with American troops. But what he is looking at is the whole of NATO and its effectiveness and also its contributions when we were in the Afghanistan war. And I do have to say the majority of those NATO allies had caveats. Think of Germany or Italy. One was in, defense only, and one was sort of support. And there are many other countries that were not willing to go shoulder to shoulder. So he's looking at the big picture, not singling out the brave UK troops. And I've met those veterans. They are wonderful people in the UK, in Denmark. But if I could, I think he is looking at strengthening NATO. And when he talks about that, he talks about it in a way that the U.S. troops,
but with respect, Carla, that isn't what he was talking about. He was talking about what happened in Afghanistan, and he said, and this is why this has caused such upset here and around the world, amongst veterans and families of those who died. In Afghanistan, 3,500 NATO troops were killed, including 457 UK military personnel. They weren't staying a little back, a little off the front lines, were they?
Your UK troops, the Danish troops, a handful of others were shoulder to shoulder with us. But I'm saying that the majority of the NATO countries are not like the UK.
But he was wrong. He didn't say some. He didn't single out other countries. Why can't you just say he got this wrong?
His words. I would not take offense at this. It is on the whole true.
But people have taken offense at this.
We honor our veterans. There's no country that honors veterans more than the United States. We share how to do that with so many NATO allies. We share best practices. Many NATO countries have not taken care of their veterans. So it's not true that we don't respect veterans. He was speaking overall. NATO did not carry their weight when we were in that war. And I'm not talking about the UK. I'm not talking about the Danes.
But he was. He didn't make that distinction, Carla. He didn't make that distinction. The Prime Minister of the UK doesn't make that distinction.
He's the President of the United States with a lot on his plate. He may not have said it the right way.
That's not an excuse for not knowing that hundreds of people from outside the UK, from outside the US, that's not an excuse for not knowing how many, the hundreds of soldiers and troops from outside the US were killed.
I'm sorry. He doesn't know every detail about every allied nation.
Well, maybe he shouldn't be talking about it then.
Overall, it was true. I'm sorry to say, overall, the NATO allies, most of them had caveats and did not go shoulder to shoulder with us like the UK and the Danes did.
Let me bring in Steve Baker.
I'm sorry, because I'm afraid in politics some stuff really does matter. 14 years I've been doing it, and I have to say, with things like this where people have laid down their lives, of course what you say about he's busy, he's got other things on his plate. But I've spoken to members of Special Forces today and others who served in Afghanistan. He has caused the gravest offence to them because they've lost friends in appalling circumstances, put their own lives on the line, seen people blown up on mines. And he has said to them that what they did didn't count. And the scale of the offence and the collapse...
I just want to interrupt
I'm sorry,
for a second.
it's absolutely no good interrupting to say it's not true. I am telling you categorically, he has deeply offended our special forces, our soldiers and others. He should apologise and he should honour the fallen.
This is the point where the excuses stop working. The room hardens, the indulgence disappears, and suddenly the stakes are clear. Because in politics, And especially when you're talking about war, some things aren't technical details or talking points. They are moral facts. And once those facts are on the table, there's nowhere left to hide.
Excuse me. We honor them. And I will just say this. If you look at President Trump and every other U.S. president in your lifetime, you will not find one who honors our military more and wants to stop the killing in the world. He has achieved so many ceasefires, and he's looking to end this war with Ukraine and Russia. No other world leader was attempting to do this until Donald Trump was elected president of the U.S. starting in January a year ago. It's true.
His words speak for themselves. They have been heard with great weight, and they've caused huge offence.
Carla, given the offence...
In my part, I apologize on his behalf for the offence, but I will say this. No one in the United States history has been more of a peace president and wants to end wars and end killing. He loves life. He loves our Brits. You know that if you read the national security strategy. He absolutely was a love letter to the UK and our European allies.
I mean, he has also accused the UK this week of Axis stupidity and other things. But you've apologised. Do you think, given you say his record on the forces and support for the forces and wanting to end conflict, given the widespread, almost universal condemnation from the Prime Minister, Prince Harry's weighed in tonight as well, veterans,
no one
politicians...
cares what he says. You know that. No one cares.
Well, quite a lot of people currently agree with him, it seems. Do you think,
he actually fought, unlike President Trump. Prince Harry actually went to Afghanistan. He stepped up for his country, unlike the President of the United States. So I think that comment is really glib and really inappropriate.
Don't compare him to I don't know what, a non-royal part of the
final word to you, Carla. Given this conversation we've had, you've apologised. Do you think it would just be better if the President just said, I got it wrong, I apologise?
I don't speak for President Trump. I'm
just asking your opinion. Would it be better? Would it draw a line under this?
And I am sorry that people took offence and that they assumed that it was about the UK, and I'm sure it was not. And he does not know about the UK and Danish sacrifices because he is looking at the globe. He does not drill down on these details like you and I might. He just, the capacity to look at the world and bring peace to 8 different conflicts. That says a lot about this man and his love for life and his love for our military and then saving young men.
Carla, good to speak to you. Thank you for joining.
Take a step back and look at what you just watched, because this wasn't just an interview that went badly. This was a test of basic honesty and responsibility, and it was failed. Near the end, she's handed the easiest exit imaginable, a clean apology, a simple acknowledgement, something any normal diplomat or serious politician would take without thinking. But she doesn't, because in this political culture admitting fault isn't strength, it's betrayal. You saw it happen in real time. You heard the deflection, you felt the hesitation every time the facts closed in. And this is why trust is gone. If someone cannot acknowledge a mistake about fallen Allied soldiers, how are they supposed to be trusted with alliances, security, or decisions that cost lives? So ask yourself honestly, is this incompetence, or is it cowardice? And would you trust people like this to run anything that actually matters?